Welcome back, Patriots, for another episode of the Balt Brad Show. It is officially July 1st. We are now into a whole nother month with the great and powerful Donald Trump, who is still, by far, not even close, the best president in American history. Now, it did just hit me this morning that Friday's July 4th, baby. And I can't wait for it because Donald Trump will be doing a celebration. I'm hearing there's going to be B-2 stealth bombers flying over D.C., F-35s, F-22s, the whole gambit, baby. Which whenever we get our Air Force out there showing the American muscle, baby, I get a little bit cheesed. I get a little bit jazzed. For all those young kids, that means excited. But it's good to see all of you. Nina, it's good to see you in the chat. Angel, Danielle, Pat, Steven, Dan, I see you all over there. We got a lot of people over on Rumble as well. I don't have my own Rumble page open. What am I doing over here? There we go. Kimmy, David, Craig, Karen, the list. Holy Mizzy, Hans, Kimmy, everybody's over there. Dave's over at Kick. Appreciate everybody joining us for this episode of the Bald Brad Show. Well, the news is a little bit sparse. There's nothing like mainstream right now. And I guess as you saw from the title of today's episode, this is mainstream as it's getting today, really. Donald Trump is going to Alcatraz. But it's not Alcatraz that you're familiar with. This is Alcatraz in Florida. So Donald Trump, here he is this morning, talking about Alcatraz.
Going out to Alligator Alcatraz. It's the East Coast version, and it should be very exciting, very good. Worked very hard on it with Ron and everybody, and I think it's going to be great. And then I'll be back here fighting for the bill, and I hear it's going okay. We'll move it along. But we'll be back here pretty early. Good morning.
Again, they're not taking our advice. Mr. President, whoever's running the White House, please, for all future presidencies, stop with the jets right next to our ears and the microphones. We could do this somewhere else. We don't have to do it on the lawn right there, right next to the helicopter jets, okay? The engine, the rotors, whatever you want to call them. They're in our ear. It's enough. So here we go. Why it might be impossible for illegals to escape Florida's Alligator Alcatraz. This is a genius innovation right here. President Donald Trump is set to visit Florida's newest illegal alien detention facility, dubbed Alligator Alcatraz, later today. Officials say the site will not only increase the federal government's holding capacity, but also provide ICE with a detention facility that is nearly impossible to break out of. Good luck. I guess you don't even need to be in a cell. It's just, hey, if you want to rough it out, good luck, man. We'll be watching you. Construction began on the location, an old aircraft training site, in early June, and the facility is expected to have space for around 5,000 illegal aliens. It is expected to be operational this week and will include laundry facilities, air conditioning, and medical care. That's one thing I was thinking of. I was like, man, can you imagine the heat out there? Things probably in the middle of a swamp and just rotisserie chicken bake out there. The facility's construction costs, Department of Homeland Security officials say, will be paid for in part by FEMA funds that were used under the Biden administration to house illegal aliens in hotels. The site's nickname is a nod to the harsh conditions that made escape from the notorious California prison, Alcatraz, incredibly treacherous and virtually impossible. I haven't really heard any updates for California's prison, Alcatraz, if you're not familiar with that. That was supposedly going to be reworked or refurbished for illegals as well. And Donald Trump's like, we can make it new again. We can make this great again. And it kind of just didn't happen. Karen says prisons in America don't have air conditioning. Well, this one looks like it might. So I don't know. I'm just reading what it says. Though Alligator Alcatraz isn't tucked away on an island like its namesake, the facility's security is similarly bolstered by a harsh landscape that would require escapees to contend with the forces of nature. Yeah, this sucker's in the middle of like nowhere. Satellite images indicate that ICE detention facilities is being built at the Training and Transition Airport, a 39 square mile site nestled deep within Florida's Everglades, a nearly 40-mile drive from Miami. Yeah, good luck crossing that territory. I mean, that is like you remember the book, what is it called? The most dangerous game or whatever. Rather than you being hunted by humans, you're just gonna be hunted by alligators and the wildlife out there. Illegal aliens detained at the new ICE facility will have little hopes of escape. If they were to make it out of the detention facility's walls, they'll be forced to navigate forest, marshes, challenging terrain, and a variety of fearsome predators, including but not limited to alligators, as they make a grueling trek towards civilization. Both White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis touted the security of the site and the natural, basically, deterrents that await illegal aliens who somehow break out of the facility. What do you guys think about this thing, huh? I mean, it's innovative. You might not be for, thank you for all the hearts over at TikTok. If you may not be for the apprehension of illegal aliens, but look, we're not talking about that. We're just talking about this is an innovative idea. And it's nice to see the government kind of getting creative a little bit. Yeah, see, Navy DC loves it, says awesome. I'm all into it. I love it. I think it's wonderful. I think it's as good as when they came out with Diet Coke. The Coca-Cola, the good stuff, the American crack. So good. So you have that there for you. And yeah, this is a little bit of those satellite images of what's going to be happening here. They're in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, good luck. Look at this is what they have to transverse if they want to escape. I mean, hey, you know what? Some of these people, we should have cut them short. These camps are for the owners to make millions from our tax dollars. Okay. I'm fine with that. Money well spent. National security is more important to me. What's crazy is I think we cut these people a little bit short here. Remember, these people walked across an entire desert, folks, to get to America. So it's pretty remarkable that they're willing to put this out there. Putting swampland to good use. Exactly. Just making swampland great again. What's wrong with that? Nobody's getting hurt here, but they're getting air conditioning. You know how many Americans live without any air conditioning? These guys get to go to nice, beautiful Everglades. Are you kidding me? Look at what it says here. Do not swim, snorkel, or dive. Yeah, I bet. Woo! All right, well, there's that for you. Alligator Alcatraz will be opening up soon for all those that want to come here. And look at one person's already upset in the chat because they're doing this. I mean, you can house them. You want to open up your home? We'll bring them right over there. Yeah, you want to open up your kitchen? Huh? You got air conditioning? Who is that, Paul? Come on, Paul, open up your house for these people. Yeah, Paul won't do it. Paul's all talk, no walk. Paul can't chew gum and walk at the same time, can you? Polly Wally was a bird. Polly Wally had no herd. Polly Wally was he? All right, here we go. Oh, we already got Trump talking about that. Borders are Tom Homan blasted CNN for promoting ICE tracking apps. This is disgusting. This is evil and wrong. But White House Borders are Tom Homan on Monday slammed CNN for promoting an app that let users track ICE agents, calling for the Justice Department to investigate the app. Yeah, I would say so. I don't know how this is legal, to be honest. Because wouldn't this be impeding federal law enforcement?
I watched a CNN segment on a new app called ICE Block, and it kind of appeared to be promoting this app where you can tell people where ICE agents are. Given the recent rise,
an app that tells people where ICE agents are?
Yes. And given the rise, I believe 500% increase in assaults on ICE agents, I wanted to see if you could comment on that and why CNN would be promoting such an app.
Well, it's a very good question. I'll have to go back and watch the clip myself, but surely it sounds like this would be an incitement of further violence against our ICE officers. As you know, as you stated, there's been a 500% increase in violence against ICE agents, law enforcement officers across the country who are just simply trying to do their jobs and remove public safety threats from our communities. And that's something we as Americans, including journalists at CNN who live in many of these cities where illegal aliens are hiding and were let in from the previous administration, should be very grateful for. So we haven't seen the clip. We'll take a look at it, but certainly it's unacceptable that a major network would promote such an app that is encouraging violence against law enforcement officers who are trying to keep our country safe.
There's Caroline Leavitt. It's nice. Again, I spent 4 years listening to Jen Psaki, and then I had to go to Karine Jean-Pierre, it's nice to have a little bit of breath of fresh air still regarding that. Here's Tom Homan slamming a new app that we were just referring to that's allegedly tracking these federal agents.
Next story is outrageous. A new iPhone app is alerting people about ICE sightings in their area. As if that's not bad enough, CNN appears to be promoting the app, talking to the creator and doing a whole story on it. That is not sitting well with my next guest. Border Czar Tom Homan joins me now. Tom, they've crossed the line here. This is out of control.
I know, it's just simply disgusting, and any network that covers that is disgusting as well. So I'm hoping DOJ steps in there and see if they cross that line of impeding federal law enforcement officers. Look, Lawrence, you and I talk about this. Assaults against ICE is up over 500%. Now you got an app that's going to tell where ICE operations are going to be. It's only a matter of time before ICE agents are ambushed by some nut, like what happened in L.A., throwing a Molotov cocktail, throwing bricks at these officers. This is just disgusting at every level. So I hope DOJ dives in this deeply, because, ICE is concentrating on public safety threats and national security threats. This shouldn't be a partisan issue. This shouldn't be an issue anybody is against. So they're already a dangerous job going after the worst of the worst. These guys are putting their lives on the line every day going after the worst and worst international security threats. And this app makes it that much more dangerous. It's incredible that those who enforce law, all of a sudden they're the bad guys. The ones who break the law, they're victims. It's disgusting.
Well, he's correct here. And it's a wild thing to me that the left, for some reason, can't just admit that. But we live in a upside down world. It's like we're living in Stranger Things, where if you are breaking the law, you're a great person. But if you're enforcing the law, you're a terrible person. And it almost makes it seem like those that are carrying on that narrative or that viewpoint are the majority, and they are by far not. But when the media keeps giving these people a voice to espouse this nonsense, well, then what happens is it almost seems like that voice is mainstream when it exactly is not. And the majority of Americans are not for this. By the way, a lot of Democrats switched over and voted for Donald Trump because they're tired of all this happening as well. We are trillions of dollars in debt. We don't have the money to keep doing this. And it's just driving us right into the ground. But again, it's all those people that aren't seeing the money being pulled out of their wallets. I've always said this. It's when I did public accounting, it always floored me when I'd have a Democrat come in my office when I'm doing taxes or we're doing financial planning for them or whatever it may be. And they're complaining about how the fact they have no money. And then I'm showing them how much money's being taken out in taxes. And they're like, well, what can we do about that? And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, you could stop voting for higher taxes. That's one thing you could do to actually make a change, is pull your head out of your, what, and start actually, voting for something that goes aligned with what you're talking to me right now about. But, they don't rationalize that. I'm telling you, it's the most remarkable thing you will ever see in your life is when you're sitting across your desk and you're in a professional setting and you're not in a political environment and you're talking to a Democrat and they're complaining to you about taxes. It is the most bewildering thing. And you can't say anything to their face because they're a client, but you just want to look at them and tell them, hello, you're voting for this. When push comes to shove, all of a sudden, when it personally affects them, their viewpoint completely changes. All these people pushing for reparations, the moment you start having them take out the money out of their wallet in the tune of thousands, all of a sudden, I don't have it anymore. Oh, I don't have that money. Oh, God. Hey, do you want to house these illegal aliens? Oh, I don't have any space. Oh, I can't do that right now. That's just not in the cards. Gotcha. So when it starts personally affecting you, all of a sudden it's not okay. But as long as it's affecting somebody else, you're cool with it. Gotcha. Okay. Well, the Pentagon spokes rips into media's weaponized smear campaign against American troops. This was a big one. So Chief Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell ripped into legacy media on Sunday, accusing outlets of fueling the Iranian propaganda machine. Here he is. He says the mainstream media is encouraging in a weaponized smear campaign against America and our incredible troops. The fake news are knowingly using incomplete, out of context, and flat out false intelligence assets to seemingly do the bidding of the Iranian propaganda machine. I wonder if this is true, I'd have to look up, is it possible for the federal government to be suing these outlets for pushing a story that is completely false and fake? I don't know. I'm not asking for it. I'm merely just proposing the question because I don't have the answer to it. The screenshot shared read breaking news: U.S. intelligence obtained private communication among Iranian officials discussing this month's military strikes on Iran's nuclear program, remarking that the attack was less devastating than expected. Don't you love how the media would rather take the Iranians' words than take the words of their own government? Now, look, could both be lying? Absolutely. I guess in this case, not. I guess both could not be lying, right? One would have to be telling the truth. But I would be less inclined to believe the Iranian regime that is the leading sponsor of terror around the world. They're not exactly the arbiters of truth. And I'm not saying our government is either, but you got to pick one or the other, don't you? Wild. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth took to a similar tone at a press conference he held last week, which we watched, where he was just bewildered as well that they're willing to push this kind of propaganda. But, you know, you shouldn't be bewildered. It's the mainstream media. It's the mainstream media. Well, here's somebody that we love. This is Stephen Miller, and he's talking about how he's sick and tired of lies about this bill. This is the most conservative bill in my lifetime. I'm not so sure about that, but let's see what Stephen has to say nonetheless.
Spent my entire life in the conservative movement. Since I was a kid in high school, working, dreaming of the day where we could have a piece of legislation like what exists right now, Sean, what President Trump has brought to the precipice of passage. Each and every one of the individual titles in this bill would be considered one of the great achievements in the history of the conservative movement. The title, for example, building the missile defense shield for the United States of America, Sean, so we can be safe, our children can be safe from foreign adversaries in this growing era of intercontinental ballistic missiles as nations race for supremacy. The section on this bill enshrining border and homeland security, this is the most far-reaching border security proposal, homeland security proposal in my lifetime. Sean, not just my lifetime, going back to Eisenhower, going back to since we've had conversations about the border, Sean. I take this seriously. I've stood by the families whose kids have been murdered by illegal aliens. We made them a promise. Most importantly, the American people voted to fulfill that promise in the last election. This bill fulfills it. It is the largest tax cut and reform in American history. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, 100% expensing for new factories. Think about that. Every single business owner with a dream of manufacturing in America can deduct 100% of that cost to make the American dream come true here in the United States. Here's another one for you, Sean. The largest welfare reform in American history. Work requirements on food stamps, work requirements on Medicaid, the two largest welfare programs that exist, and now we are attaching work requirements to those programs. Orders of magnitude larger than the welfare reform that Republicans enacted into law in the 1990s. I am sick and tired of the lies about this bill that have been perpetrated by opportunists who are trying to make a name for themselves. This is the most conservative bill in my lifetime. Tax cuts, defense, border security, homeland security, welfare reform, and the largest spending cut in one bill that has ever been enacted. So, Sean, let's work together. Let's pass this bill. Let's get it to President Trump's desk by July 4th.
I mean, he makes a good point here. And what you've kind of find this a little bit fascinating is that you're not really hearing much of the bad in terms of what's in this bill. So from really Republicans, what you're kind of getting is, well, it's a deficit increase. The bill is criticized for increasing federal deficits. That's what you're hearing kind of from Republicans and Elon Musk. But you're not really hearing much outside of that. I mean, what you're also hearing from the left, like Elizabeth Warren, for example, is that the bill includes significant cuts to health care and food assistance programs, potentially leading to millions losing coverage. A post by Fact Post News cites a poll showing 72% of respondents are concerned about increased uninsured rates due to these cuts, with only 35% viewing the bill favorably and 64% unfavorably. But again, that's regarding the healthcare and social program cuts. I hate to tell everybody in the chat this, but yeah, those social programs are and those social programs that are within our budget are the ones that are going to have to be cut. Sooner or later, it's going to have to be cut. Whether you like it or not, it's going to happen. But, you know, I don't know how to rationalize how you're going to continue to go forward as a country when you don't have any money. Yeah, you did this to yourself because you want to have those entitlement programs. Those entitlement programs are what's making you go bankrupt, folks. Just, hey, it's not your defense budget. It's not this big, beautiful bill. It's not. It's the entitlement programs. It's Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all this stuff that's making you go bankrupt. And interest, by the way, and interest. So, by the way, the Federal Reserve is not exactly helping matters by keeping interest rates up at, 4.5% or something like that. Because we have to refinance like $9 trillion, and at 4.5% versus like 1% is a pretty big difference in terms of money that you're gonna have to pay, but we're not there just yet. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, make sure you hit that like button as well as hit that subscribe button if you think that we deserved it. Here is another clip by Donald Trump that's talking about the big, beautiful bill.
Warning some Republicans not to go too crazy with the cuts. Are there parts of the bill or amendments that you think cut too much?
We're going to have to see the final version. I don't want to go too crazy with cuts. I don't like cuts. There are certain things that have been cut, which is good. I think we're doing well. We're going to have to see. It's very complicated stuff. Great enthusiasm, as you know. And I think in the end, we're going to have it. What do you think, Caroline? Yeah, I think we're going to have it.
Warning some.
By the way, it seems like he's wearing a new hat there, right? Looks like a brand new hat. I'm trying to see if I can get, here we go. Here's an image. I love this image. Here we go. So what do your federal taxes pay for? If you're like most people, you're probably wondering where all that money is going. The federal government collects taxes to finance a range of public services and institutions that provide those services. So what does it look like in the real world? Well, let's see here. You see these top two bad boys right here? You see this big piece? Almost 50%. Yeah, you see this? Almost 50% of your budget is what? Health and Social Security. Gotcha. Now, some people go, well, look at that big sliver there. That 16% is your national defense. Yes, that is the function of government. Gee, it's weird how when they framed government, they didn't exactly put health and Social Security at the top. Well, they just didn't think of it. Okay. Yeah, they didn't have any safety nets in society way back when. Gotcha. Okay. None at all. None whatsoever. No help, no churches to help people. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, they were too stupid. They formed the best government and system that's ever been created by mankind. But yeah, no, they were too stupid to come up with this stuff. Gotcha. You want to know who's stupid to come up with this? FDR. Because now we're paying the price for it. And this national debt, by the way, this is old. This is Dave Ramsey. He actually needs to update this because this is way more. National defense is no longer number 3. It is our interest on our debt. We pay more interest on our debt now than we do this. So this is an old image. Yeah, this pie has been replaced by this pie right here. And this isn't even that old of an image, by the way. But that's always fun. Yeah, this is going to get bigger too. See, the nice thing about this pie is it shifts. Yeah, it gets bigger and bigger in proportion. So, you only have 100%, folks. You got to work with that. But that's all fun. Yeah, it's going to be fun when you realize that you have to cut from this area because you have no money. See, they'll go, well, maybe we could just cut from this piece, or maybe because you can't cut from interest, right? You got to pay that. Maybe we can cut from veterans, or let's tap into like the 1.5 or 2.6% because these people are idiots. Yeah, why don't you start with the big slices first? Let's do that. Well, you can't touch the healthcare, and you can't touch that. Okay. Well, sooner or later whether you like it or not, sooner or later you're gonna have to. And boy, oh boy, don't say I didn't warn you so for the last 4 years plus. Well, somebody that's complaining big time about this big, beautiful bill is Elon Musk. He's probably one of the loudest voices. Now he's threatening to make a third party, which if that happens, you have Democrats winning for as long as he does that. So this guy right here is turning into one of the biggest jerks I've seen because he's going to just completely puppet up the Democrat Party because this bill is going to pass, whether he likes it or not. And so we'll see if he gets called out for his words. but he's going to be making what's called the American Party or something like that. If he does that, we just lost midterms. Just heads up. If he does it, we lost. So Elon Musk said on Monday he will actively work toward ensuring GOP lawmakers who vote to pass the One Big Beautiful Bill despite campaigning on promises to rein in government spending will lose their primaries. The warning from Musk, whose alliance with President Donald Trump crumbled several weeks ago after he began openly criticizing the legislation, came as Republicans worked towards getting the 900-page plus measure passed by the end of this week through the budget reconciliation process. Every member of Congress who campaigned on reducing government spending and then immediately voted for the biggest debt increase in history should hang their heads in shame. And they will lose their primary next year if it is the last thing I do on this earth. So we will see. He's kind of been crashing out harder than I've ever seen before. And I don't know if he's realized like all of a sudden how much power he has. I'm not exactly sure. But it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. And by the way, he could wield that power however he so chooses. But he's going to end up hurting himself more than he's going to end up hurting others. If you think Donald Trump and his big, beautiful bill is bad, dude, wait till you put in Democrats in that office that want to tax more of the rich and the wealthy, that want to go after more. Remember how he was targeted by Joe Biden and his EVs? Remember how Joe Biden would not even allow him to come to the White House, but he allowed all those other electric vehicle companies to come to the White House? So if you think Trump's treating you bad, which by the way, he just did an interview like 2 days ago on Fox and said really nice things about Elon Musk, even after Musk called him like basically a person that touches little kids. I forgot the name of it, but like not a predator, but it doesn't matter. You know what I'm referring to. Musk also chided members of the conservative House Freedom Caucus and begrudged how the bill may cause or phase out rather green energy tax credits that could impact customers on his Tesla businesses. Yeah, I don't think you should get a green energy tax credit. I could care less. It's not a big deal. Look, if you are buying an electric vehicle and you're trying to get a credit out of it, I don't think that should be a thing. How about that? Wow, you bought an electric vehicle. You're better than the rest of us. Gotcha. Except you're not, because I live in the state of California and my thermostat is being throttled because you want to charge your Tesla. And I'm not kidding by that. I'm not kidding at all. That's exactly what they do. Starting this month into August and then about mid-September, what they will do is I have a thermostat. I have a Nest thing. And I can turn my AC on as much as I'd like. I grew up majority of my life without AC, so it is a luxury for me. And I pump that bad boy. Well, they will turn it off. And Gavin Newsom, the guy that wanted to go fully electric by like 2030 or something crazy, is throttling my thermostat or my AC because there's not enough power to support everything. Mind you, during this time of high energy usage, because it's hot and they push global warming, but it's just always hot. I've lived here my entire life. That's how I know exactly when it's going to start getting really hot, and it starts very soon. He said, make sure you don't plug in your Teslas because the power grid can't handle it. Gotcha. So if it can't handle it now, and you're not making any adjustments to it, Gavin, meaning making more electric grids or more power, how do you expect that to function when you're making everything go full electric by 2030, 2035, doesn't matter the date? Can you explain to me how you get there, Gavin? Or is your head so far up your, you know what, you don't know what daylight looks like anymore? Because it seems to be the case of the latter, that you really have your head so far up your, you know what, you don't know what's going on. Yeah. So screw the energy tax credits. That's sick, man. Cool. You got an energy vehicle. Except how much energy does it utilize, or how much pollution does it do to actually make that vehicle in the first place? Not to mention, to get all those metals and stuff that go into it, are we not going to talk about where all that metal comes from? We're not going to talk about the slavery that happens around the world. We can't do that because then it's misinformation, disinformation over at certain platforms. Yeah, you don't want to talk about that. These people say they're holier than thou, but the second you bring up the fact that they're using child labor to make this stuff in some cases, can't talk about that, you guys. Yep. Did you notice that? I got to ask you guys a question. Is it just me? Or does it seem like there's I could be wrong, but I live in a leftist state called California. So I'm not saying my viewpoint matters, but it does. I was thinking about this yesterday, and man, I gotta say, the Democrat Party really does seem like they don't like America. I don't think I've ever said that out loud here on the show, but I was thinking about this last night, and after everything that's been going on the last 4 years, and how you're even, just the fact that I wear this American flag on my hat, I'm contributed to not being an American first, but they automatically see me directly as MAGA. That's like wild to me. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm actually a fiscal conservative. I'm technically, I like to make America great again. But it's weird how you just automatically associate with me with MAGA. Like, yeah, I voted for Donald Trump, but I'm actually a fiscal conservative. I'm not even a Republican. You know what I mean? But it's weird how, like, you have the American flag waving outside your house and you're deemed like a racist or like a colonialist, right? Or an imperialist, whatever word they want to throw at you. But it's as if the Democrat Party like hates America. It's the wildest thing to me. And then it's like it's like a known stereotype, right? That, oh, MAGA wearing the American flag and look at him being so patriotic, that nationalist. Nationalism isn't totally bad, by the way. Like, it's good. You should have pride in your country. You should love your country. Yes. That's what a lot of other people around the globe do. They love their country. It's the wildest thing to me. And I feel like it's getting worse for the Democrats, where like they're slowly even hating more and more of America, which I think is why a lot of people are like kind of leaving that party. But again, it will hurt. It will hurt if Elon Musk does this. Such a move would mark a huge turnaround for Musk, who spent more than $250 million to help Trump and other Republicans win elections last year. Yeah, but that's like chump change to that guy. Before spearheading the current administration's Department of Government Efficiency effort through last month. Yeah, but he shouldn't have been shocked that Trump was going to do this. The reason why I'm okay with this bill being pushed forward is because I already knew this was going to happen. And I said years ago, when Donald Trump was fighting Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer in the Oval Office to get the border wall built and try to get the funding for the border all the way back then, I said, well, they're just shooting themselves in the foot, because we're going to need a border wall sooner or later, or border security, doesn't matter how you want to phrase it. And so you might as well give it to us now, because later on it's just going to be more expensive, because everything's going to be inflated just naturally. So everything that we've been trying to get for the last decade is being put in this bill. So our own government really are the ones that shot us in the foot. So that's why it's so big and that it's beautiful, is because we've been asking for a lot of these things for a decade. 10 years we've been asking for this. And for some reason, this genius on the screen, I'm not talking about myself, thank you very much, is not able to comprehend that. That's why it's so expensive. And can you put a price on national security? I'm not so sure you can. And I'm a cheap, you know what, folks, and I don't need to keep saying that. You know I'm cheap. So if I'm saying I'm cool with this, that's a big deal. Because illegal immigration and the national debt are my two biggest issues politically. If I could solve one of those, I'm happy. And right now it seems that we're going to be solving the bleeding, the hemorrhaging that's happening at our southern border, that's costing us to the tune of trillions of dollars. People, oh, well, it's only like 400 billion. No, it's not. Give me a break. I did some loosey math on it, and I said that Joe Biden cost us $1 trillion in illegal immigration every single during his 4 years. $1 trillion out of 4 years. So I could spend $500 billion on this border, and I'd be saving money in the long run. Because the idea is you're not going to have to keep building a border wall, right? You kind of got it going. You got it built. Now you got to keep for maintenance, but hey, Joey was the one that was allowing it to sit in the desert and rust. I always thought that was a remarkable thing by Joey, that this guy was complaining about environmental safety, utilizing the EPA to go after his political opponents. And he was saying how you can't build a makeshift border wall out of shipping containers because it was ruining the environment. That's what he said, not me. But yet, right next to where they were putting the shipping containers, in theory, would have been these border walls that he was allowing to rust in the desert. So brand new shipping containers that have paint on them that's not rusting at all versus you keeping border wall laying in the desert that we're paying rent on, rusting. Gee, which one do you think is more environmentally hazardous? I would say neither, if you're to ask me, because it's the desert. But that's here nor there. Now, somebody that for some reason has more sanity than a lot of people in Congress right now, and I'll tell you what, this was not on my bingo card. I don't think it was on anybody's. That I don't know what happened to Fetterman, but he, for some reason, is super rational. This guy, for sometimes just the wires like connect at the right angle way more often than like AOC, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, the whole bit over there in the Democrat Party. I don't know what's up with this guy, but this is a guy that couldn't even read or do anything because obviously I think he had a brain injury, but talk about coming out of left field. So Fetterman irritated members of his own party by complaining about Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer moved to force a clerk to read President Donald Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill in its entirety. Isn't that what I was saying yesterday? Like, dude, me and him had the exact same viewpoint. Like, bro, if you're going to push this whole idea of wanting to punish Republicans by making everybody wait 15 to 20 hours for this bill to be read before they can vote on it or whatever, why don't you read it your damn self? But typical Democrat fashion, making somebody else do it. Yeah, because it can't, again, it goes with my theory. I should label this theory. It can't affect them. It has to affect somebody else. See, the moment Chuck would have to read this for 15 or 20 hours, he ain't going to do it, right? It ain't going to go through. All of a sudden, you don't have anybody reading this thing out loud. But the moment you're a Democrat and the burden lies on somebody else to do your BS work, all of a sudden, we could do this all day. Oh, gotcha. So it goes with anything on Democrat. You could almost take this down to anything that they talk about. Illegal immigration. Somebody else has to pay for it, but the moment you got to pay for it, not a good thing. Healthcare. Well, as long as somebody else is paying for it and I'm not having to take the money out of my own direct wallet and actually watch it leave my hands, it's fine. You could almost take it down to anything. Schumer forced the move on Saturday saying, quote, I will object to Republicans moving forward on their big, ugly bill without reading it on the Senate floor. Republicans won't tell America what's in the bill, so Democrats are forcing it to be read start to finish on the floor. We will be here all night if that's what it takes to read it. Well, it's funny how they're all concerned now about these huge bills and that it must be read aloud on the Senate floor, which I'm not exactly against, but don't make that poor clerk read it. Read it your damn self, you lazy bum. God, these people in Congress are so lazy. They think they're holy. They think they're above the rest of us, you guys. We're just peasants to these people. Fetterman made it clear that he was unhappy with the move from the start, saying it's not like it's pathetic to force the clerk to read it or anything. Yeah, it is pathetic. It's messed up, man. What did she do?
Did you get any clues on the floor about what time this might wrap?
Oh my God, I just want to go home. I've missed our entire trip to the beach. My family's going to be back before we that. So, and again, I'm going to vote no. There's no drama. The votes are going to go. In fact, the only interesting votes are going to be on the margin, whether that's Collins or Johnson and those. But all the Democrats, we all know how that's going to go. And I don't think it's really helpful to put people here till when some ungodly hour. And again,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And he's not wrong. Oh my God, I just want to go home, Pennsylvania Democrat told reporters on Monday. I've already missed our entire trip to the beach. My family's going to be back before we do. I'm going to vote no. There's no drama that we know how the votes are going to go. The only interesting votes are going to be on the margins, whether that's Collins or Johnson, but all Democrats, we all know how that's going to go. So it's just, I don't feel bad that he's missing vacation, to be honest. Like, I don't feel bad at all. Yeah, you don't get to spend time with your family. Well, if you guys weren't nut jobs, then you would be able to figure that out. But, you wanted to play games.
there is always dignity in fighting for the American people, especially folks who are just trying to get by. I've talked to so many people in my state that are fearful of this, who have illnesses, who have adopted children who are on Medicaid. You know, when you adopt a kid through foster care, they're on Medicaid. I met this woman named Kiana Brown who says that what's going on here makes her feel like the Republicans are burning down her house and the kids are still inside. She is fearful that they're going to lose their Medicaid coverage, and one of her kids has special health care needs, and she cannot not afford to buy health insurance for this child. So, I mean, if it takes us till 6 in the morning or all day tomorrow, we should stay here, and if we can, try to make this bill a lot less bad. But at the same time, we should be here fighting for the American people. I don't care if it takes a month if we have to stay straight through. So I disagree with my colleague from Pennsylvania.
Oh, I don't care if it takes a month. All of a sudden they want to work. Yeah, okay. So let me get this straight. Before you're complaining about going on, like you weren't going to be able to go on vacation, and now you're saying, well, we're going to really dig in here and make sure this bill isn't as bad as it was going to be. Come on. Give me a break. Yeah, we're really gonna dig out our trenches. We'll be here for a month if I have to. I ain't gonna leave. Yeah, sure you are, pal. Give me a break. Well, here's some updates regarding human smuggler Kilmore Abrego Garcia, and I guess he's going to be staying behind bars. So here he is back in the United States again, and he's going to be behind bars and most likely be deported. A federal judge in Tennessee ordered suspected human smuggler and illegal alien. Whoa. Everybody calm down here. Hold on a second. I was told this guy's a Maryland man. I love doing this. This is my favorite part. Just indulge me for a little bit. I was told this guy's a Maryland man. Hold on a second. What's this here? Any of you guys over at TikTok ever see this? What's going on? Human smuggler and illegal alien. This guy's a Maryland man. He's a good guy. Now the guy sweeps the street on his hands and knees with a broom and brush. This guy paints people's houses on the weekend for free. Now he's a volunteer guy. Yeah, everybody knows who this guy is. Yeah, he flips burgers for 4th of July. He asks you if you want medium, rare, or well done. He's a good guy. Oh yeah, look, he's a loving father and husband, is he? Yeah, exactly. Human smuggler, come on, what a smear campaign. The guy's like, oh, illegal alien. Come on, he's a Maryland man. He's not illegal. Come on. Federal magistrate judge Barbara Holmes ordered Monday that Abrego remain in custody of U.S. Marshals after his lawyers expressed fear that he may be deported before his criminal case concludes. She previously ruled that he should be released from custody while his trial plays out. Remember how we said, again, this was crazy. This was wild. We've seen this before, this story. So if you're like, oh, this looks familiar, it's because we covered it. This guy allegedly trafficked children and human beings, folks. And the judge was saying, yeah, he should be let go. He's not a threat to society. Like what? What? A human smuggler is not a threat to society? Abrego shall therefore remain in custody of the United States Marshal pending further order. He shall, to the extent practicable, he be held separately from persons awaiting or servicing sentences or being held in custody pending appeal. Well, why? He's a Maryland guy. He's probably giving back massages and rubs out there in the prison. What's the big deal here? Huh. That's weird. Wait, why does he have to be separated? He's a good guy. What? He's not an MS-13 gang member. Why would you have to separate him from the other gangs? That's weird. It's almost as if everything that's being said in this article is contradictory to what we're being told by the media and the mainstream lefties out there. So, odd. Yeah, no, he's not a gang member, you guys. He's not MS-13, but he has to be separated away from the rest of the gangs. Okay. That's okay, sure. Yeah, whatever you say. Abrego Garcia's legal team moved to keep him detained after a Justice Department official indicated that the suspected human smuggler would be taken into ICE custody and removal proceedings begun if he was released by U.S. Marshals. The illegal alien who has been incorrectly dubbed a Maryland man by the legacy media, faces 10 years in prison and up to $250,000 fine for one count of conspiracy of transporting aliens, and up to 10 years in prison for each illegal smuggled across the country if found guilty on another count of unlawful transportation of illegal aliens. He was returning to the United States last week. Remember, this is the guy that the left wanted to bow down as if he was Jesus and rub perfume all over his feet. Yo, these are insane charges, by the way. These are insane charges. And by the way, up to 10 years for each illegal smuggled. This guy's been doing it for years. I mean, there was like 5 people alone in the car that was on body cam footage. We'll be generous. We'll say 3 people. The dude would look at 30 years. 30 years. And by the way, there was a minor in that car too. Yeah, I believe there's a minor in that car. Don't hold me to that. But I heard there was a minor, like 15 years old or something like that. But don't worry, he's just going out to work on construction with the boys. Yeah, he's going to be running machinery. Yeah, he's taking care of the forklift or something like that. Yeah, he's just out there working. Yeah, he's grinding at 15. Really? Sure. Earlier this month, the Justice Department argued in Nashville that Abrego should be detained because he was a flight risk. It would endanger the community based on testimony and evidence that he had endangered children through his alleged participation in a smuggling ring, ties to violent gangs, and multiple complaints from his wife. But you can't look at that. Yeah, because it destroys the narrative. Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah. Invite him over to your house for a barbecue. They'll do it because they're idiots. See, you can't say things like that anymore of like, well, why don't you house this guy? Why don't you let this kid babysit your kids? Because the left will do it. That's the wild thing. See, why am I saying that? Well, I'm saying that because the left are the same people that will stand in front of a vehicle as it's going 60 miles an hour protesting, and then they are completely shocked and floored that they got ran over. They're idiots. Somebody has to say it. I got no qualms with that. Like I said, why don't you go protest in front of an oncoming train, and I will be there to root you on. I want to see how that one works out because I really don't know. See, if you get to play stupid, I'm going to play stupid too. Let's all just be really stupid here. Go and protest in front of an oncoming train. I know where a lot of them are at in Southern California. We'll go together. I will finance it. I will pay for your trip. I just want to see how that one's going to work out. You can't dodge it. In the same way you weren't going to dodge the vehicle, I want to see what the turnout is on this train. And I'm going to be taking bets. Do you think the train is going to win? Or you think the person protesting is going to win? My money's on the protester. I don't know about you. My money's on the protester. I think that protester is going to win. Yep. Are you really going to stand up? See, the train is imperialism. The train represents colonialism. The train represents the terrible things our country's ever done. And it's going to plow through unless you stand in front of it and stop it. Are you going to stand up to the oligarchy? Are you going to stand up to the millionaires and billionaires that are taking your money? Are you going to allow this to happen or are you not? My money's on the protester. Just saying. I don't think they really believe it unless they're willing to stand in front of it. If you're going to stand in front of a car, let's up it a little bit. Let's see what you really believe in. Trump admin hits Los Angeles with lawsuit after violent anti-ICE riots. The Trump administration sued the city of Los Angeles Monday, accusing the city of violating the Constitution with sanctuary city policies that impede federal immigration enforcement. I find it fascinating that people are complaining. They're like taking their phones out and they're recording like them going to the doctor's office and there's nobody in the waiting room or emergency rooms. And they go like this. They go, oh my God. Oh my God. Look how empty it is. Everybody's so scared to get health care. And I'm like, whoa, I don't have to wait 8 to 10 hours to get my whatever looked at. I'm ecstatic. Yes, thank you. So you've been telling me that the whole reason that the emergency room has been impacted is because they're just filled up with illegals everywhere. This is awesome. Or they're showing the streets, right? Because there's nobody selling stuff anymore in the streets illegally. And they're going, oh my God, look how empty everything is. Oh, Jesus. Like, it's cleaner. It's safer. I can have my kids go walk. I don't have kids, but I can have my kids go walk around. This is great. Remember when we used to just go out and play all the time? Like you'd be like, all right, mom, I'm going. It's like 7:30 in the morning. All right, I'll be back later. Okay, just come back before the lights are on. And your parents didn't hear a peep out of you because there was no phones back then. There was like, remember that, what was it called? Like calling collect. You know what I mean? You'd call collect really quick. And so you didn't have to pay for it at the payphone. And it was like, oh, please state your name. Mom, come pick me up. That you like have to scream it really fast into the phone for them to come get you. So they have to pay for the collect because it's so expensive. My mom used to flip when she had to pay for the collect bill. So we'd always be like, Mom, come pick us up. We're at Super Saver. So they wouldn't hear from you for hours. You can't do that anymore because there might be people like, Abrego Garcia that might allegedly kidnap you and take you somewhere. The Justice Department said in a lawsuit that the city's policy prohibiting any city resources from being used for federal immigration actions violates the supremacy clause of the Constitution. The DOJ argued that the city's policies contributed to anti-ICE riots that rocked Los Angeles earlier this month. I said, let LA burn, and I live here. Let LA burn to the ground. Let New York burn to the ground. Let these cities start falling. I could care less. And I live here. Let it fall. Let the devastation happen. The remarkable thing is the left still won't wake up. They love it, you guys. These people, remember, these people love crime. They love all this stuff happening. How do I know that? Because I live here and I watch it. I watch it happen in real time. You could have, you guys, I've lived it. You can have a guy masturbating inches from your child's face, a homeless guy, and you could have a Democrat lefty right next to you be totally okay with it. It's the wildest thing you'll ever see in your life. You can have a guy that's been on the streets for so long that his jeans have melted off his butt and it looks like he's wearing assless chaps and defecate right in front of you and they won't have any problems with it. It's almost like, God, Brad, that's really specific. Yeah, you didn't just come up with that, did you? It's as if you've seen this with your own eyes. Yes. Yes, I have. Many of times, by the way. They'll be okay with you having a trans person completely nude doing yoga on Hollywood Boulevard, thrusting their pee-pee parts in front of your face and your child's face and the tourist's face. Like, wow, Brad, how do you come up with that stuff? I don't. I've seen it. Yep. And you could too if you just went down to LA. I almost can guarantee you that if you went to LA, you would see something like that. You either see a homeless person defecating, a homeless cracked out of their mind on Hollywood Boulevard. Please don't think that you have to go to some shady neighborhood for this, you guys. You get to walk the Hollywood Star of Fame to see all the greatness, right? You can go to Chinese Grauman's Theater and see the handprints of Harry Potter, right? Sylvester Stallone, the greats. And you too could also see a guy cracked out of his mind on fentanyl, homeless people fighting in the streets, defecating on Hollywood Boulevard, putting out their, peeing on the side of a building, masturbating, running around naked, doing everything. You too could do that. And I'm telling you right now, there's Democrats all around you watching this happen, and they love it. Sanctuary policies were driving cause of violence, chaos, and attacks on law enforcement that Americans recently witnessed in Los Angeles. We'll see if that goes through, but wild stuff there from the left, but it's going to continue to get worse. Come play in California. Exactly. Yep. It's bad. I stay away from LA. I was born in Cali. I live here still, and I stay away from LA. As I've mentioned, you will know the second you cross county lines. When you cross from Orange County to LA County, you will know immediately, oh, we just crossed into LA. It is Orange County and LA County are vastly different. Orange County is ran by Republicans, by the way, and LA County is ran by lefty psychos. And it is trash, man. I mean that, you guys. There is trash everywhere. So here we go. Gas prices to trend down amidst record number of Americans traveling for July 4th. Well, that's weird. What do you mean? I'm being told gas prices are up. By the way, what's the economy at right now? What are we dealing with here today? it up? Is it down? Let's see. We always like to check here. So it is down slightly. Not much, still up. It's weird how you don't really hear anything, right, about the economy anymore now that it's better than it was under Joe Biden's administration and even when Donald Trump took office. It's weird how that one kind of fell off. It's like eggs, right? Remember how eggs were so expensive? Oh, God, you can't even afford eggs anymore under Trump's economy. The guy's been in office for legitimately 15 minutes. And that's not an exaggeration. They were coming out 15, 30 minutes after the guy swore in, complaining that he was the cause of eggs going up. I'm telling you, there's something wrong. There really is. These people aren't well. And I don't know what happened, but they're roaming around like NPCs. I know I repeat myself a lot here on the show, but I really do believe that the older I get and the more I watch people, I'm starting to think we're in some sort of simulation. There ain't no way, man. Some of these people, there ain't no way that they walking around like that. The CBO ignores lots of things that affect the deficit. It ignores the better economic growth from the bill. That is true. I don't want to say that they ignore it, but for this bill to work out, you definitely need a very good GDP. I want to say like 4% GDP, 4 or 5% GDP, something like that for this kind of, you have to have like kind of the perfect storm for everything to work out to where the numbers would work, that this wouldn't necessarily increase the debt. I mean, it's going to increase the debt by technical terms, but paying for itself, you would have to have a pretty good economy and a pretty good GDP. So we'll kind of see what comes of that. I'm trying to see if there's anything else here. Let me do this really quick. Let me see if End Wokeness has anything here for us. Oh, here we go. Now we got it. Now we got inside the Alcatraz. Here's some video, baby. This is Alligator Alcatraz. It's nice flooring. Look at that. Think that's laminate? I think so. Look at bedding. Look at all that. That's nice. The lighting's great. I don't know, though, man. You get enough guys in there with just a chain link fence. I don't know if that's going to hold up against a bunch of, I mean, how many beds are in here? There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 4. I mean, a bunch of guys could blow through this, man. If you just move these bunks out of the way, dude, I don't know if this is a good idea. If you just, and I don't know if these are bolted to the floor. You'd imagine that they are. Because all they would have to do, right, is pick these up and just throw them at the chain link fence. Or just get 10 guys to all run at the same time. You're going to blow through these fences, man. Or this door here. I don't know if this is going to hold, dude. Now, it's supposed to be just I think it's supposed to be just a holding facility. But I don't know, man. Like, this is definitely bolted to the floor here. But I'm trying to see if the bedding is bolted to the floor. I'm trying to see right here. I think it might be. Yeah, they are. You can see the silver. You can see the piece going down into it. Yeah, right there. I don't know, though. You guys think this is going to hold people? Yeah, cages. The left's going to freak out. Yeah, absolutely. Chain link fence. Oh, my God. You put them in cages like animals. Hey, I mean, it's better than being on the street. You got a freaking a nice bed. You're getting a hot meal. Probably get a shower. Nice flooring. This flooring is nicer than some people's houses. Not too bad. Not too bad. All right, let's see. We always go to this. Let's see if we're missing any news before we leave here. Senate debates Trump's big, beautiful bill. Ain't nothing there. Caitlin Clark, I can care less about the WNBA. And this guy got a plea deal. This kind of went breaking. I'm not big into, I shouldn't say I'm not big into true crime. And maybe I should cover this stuff. But the guy that basically allegedly deleted these college students, which is terrible, I guess he got some sort of plea deal. So he's agreed, the guy that allegedly deleted these guys, has agreed to plead guilty to all accounts in the case involving the murder of 4 University Idaho students in November of 2022. This plea deal, which spares him from the death penalty, will see him sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. The deal has stirred controversy, particularly among the victims' families, some of whom expressed dissatisfaction with the legal process. I guess what the family's saying is, well, they never even contacted the family. They never even, had them involved in this plea deal. Seems like they kind of went around them. Like maybe the family, that's not what they wanted. I don't know. But now this guy gets to live a full life in prison while these young, beautiful, people don't. So you get to just delete like a bunch of people and you get to, live in a prison, meals for days, right? Nothing happens to you. Gotcha. Okay. By the way, there was a donation earlier and this is my fault. Let me go to it really quick. It was Nina Walters for the $2. Thank you, Nina. I appreciate that. That was way early on in the show, by the way. This is my fault. That was all the way back when we were watching Stephen Miller's clip. His clip was kind of long and it dropped off. So I want to apologize to Nina, but thank you for the $2 on that donation. You help keep the lights on here. Appreciate you. God bless you. Here's an update as well. I got to figure out how to change the price of the tier from 99 cents to $1.99. So what might happen, I just want to be clear here. A lot of you are here. You might see the lower tier disappear altogether, like I'm deleting it. I think that's the only way of changing it, and then making it $1.99. I might even make it $3.99. I don't know what I'm going to do, but there's going to be a new price. Most likely it's going to be $1.99. But I think I have to delete that old tier. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to update it with a new badge icon, which is what you see in the thumbnail that you guys really liked. So you might have to become a member to get that, which I think is kind of nice, honestly, is to remove you from that lower tier membership. And then you get to decide if you want to opt back into it or not. So we'll see. $1.99, $2.99. I don't know yet. I might go a little bit crazy. Maybe I'll make it $20. I don't know. We'll see. But that is the episode for today. I appreciate everybody joining me here on the Bald Brad Show. We'll be back here later today for Dark MAGA. There will not be a live show Friday. Again, that's July 4th because I'm going to go run a 5K. But there might be a premiere. So I might record a show ahead of time and premiere it, but it won't be live. So we'll kind of see what we do with that. But I would still hope that you would check out the episode. There might be something out, but we'll see. There's no live show, though, on Friday. But Dark MAGA will be closed off to premium members only, so make sure you check that out. We'll be here later today going over probably the White House press briefing and some more long-form footage. I would like to check out a little bit of what's going on with artificial intelligence as well. But again, that will be over at Rumble exclusive, Rumble only on Rumble Premium. How many times can I say the word Rumble? So head over there and become a member today over at Rumble Premium. And you're supporting a great company that supports free speech. So with that being said, pray for this country, pray for Donald Trump, pray for world peace, and I will see you later. Hey, Brad, and I a premium member? I don't know if you're a premium member. I have no idea. Oh, no, I don't think so. I don't know. You'd have to, if you go over, you could check out Rumble Premium. I have no idea. You would know. It's like $100. But anyways, with that being said, take care of yourselves. Adios, Patriots.